The woman in this video is my future wife. And no, this is not just a statement, it is a vow written in my soul. I see her smile, the way her eyes hold galaxies, and I realize destiny isn't something you wait for, it's something that finds you. She doesn't even know how deeply she has changed me, how silently she rewrote the script of my life. You might wonder, what makes her so different? Let me ask you, have you ever looked at someone and felt like your entire future is standing right in front of you? That's what happened to me. And here I am, telling the world, because some feelings refuse to stay hidden. The first time I saw her, it wasn't fireworks, it was silence. A silence so powerful, it made the noise of the world disappear. She didn't need to announce herself, her presence carried the weight of something eternal. I remember thinking, is this how fate feels? And yet, I said nothing. I watched from afar pretending to be strong, when in truth, my heart was already hers. Have you ever loved someone without touching them? Without even speaking to them? That's how it began for me, a love unspoken, but louder than anything I'd ever known. And deep down, I knew silence was only the beginning. People think love is loud, dramatic, like a storm crashing against the shore. But with her, love felt like breathing, effortless, essential, impossible to ignore. I started noticing details, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way she looked at the world as if it still held magic. Every little thing became a universe I wanted to explore. But here's the truth, what scared me most was losing her. What scared me most was the possibility of never having the courage to tell her she was the one. Tell me, what's worse, confessing your heart and risking rejection, or staying silent, and living with regret forever? I kept replaying moments in my mind. Imaginary conversations. Smiles that never happened. Words I never said. And the weight of it grew heavier each day. You see, we often believe love stories belong to the brave, but sometimes they belong to the ones who suffer quietly. I wondered if she knew what she meant to me, would she walk away, or would she stay? The fear was real, but so was the pull. And that's when I realized something profound, love doesn't wait for perfect timing. Love demands you step forward, trembling hands and all, because hearts don't beat forever. So I made a promise to myself, one day, she will know. One day I will speak. But until then, I carried her in my thoughts like a sacred prayer. Have you ever had someone live in your mind rent-free, not because you can't let go, but because you don't want to? That was her. She wasn't just a chapter in my story, she was the book itself. And slowly, I stopped asking why her, and started asking why not her. If my soul recognized her as mine, then was that enough? Was that the only sign I needed? But here's the twist, love tests you before it blesses you. The world tried to distract me, tried to convince me I was chasing an illusion. Friends said, she's out of reach, don't waste your time. But my heart disagreed. Isn't it strange how everyone else sees impossibility, but your soul only sees inevitability? That's what she was, inevitable. And I couldn't escape it even if I tried. So I chose faith over doubt. Because sometimes, the bravest thing a man can do is believe in a future no one else sees. There were nights I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, whispering her name into the silence. Nights where I wondered if she could feel it, this invisible thread tying us together. I don't know if you've ever felt it, but it's as if the universe itself conspires to line your steps with theirs. Every sign, every coincidence, every fleeting moment seemed to point back to her. Could it all be chance? Or was it destiny finally revealing its hand? I didn't know. But I knew one thing: when destiny whispers, you listen. And so, I began to imagine a life with her. A life where mornings weren't just mornings, but promises. Where laughter wasn't just sound, but music. Where love wasn't just a feeling, but a home. Tell me, have you ever closed your eyes and seen a future so vividly, it almost felt real? That's what I saw with her. Not castles, not crowns, not perfection. Just her. Her hand in mine, her voice saying my name, as if it was the only word that mattered. That vision was enough to keep me alive. But love is never easy, is it? There were obstacles. My fears. Her distance. The shadows of what if. Yeah, the harder it became, the clearer it was. Nothing worth having comes without a fight. Sometimes I asked myself, what if I'm wrong? What if she doesn't feel the same? And then it asked the more dangerous question, but what if I'm right? That question was enough to make me hold on. Because some risks aren't risks at all, they're leaps of faith. and I was ready to leap. So I spoke. Not with rehearsed lines, not with polished words, but that silence, where a second feels like eternity. That was my battlefield. And then she smiled. Not just any smile, but the kind that tells you I see you. I feel it too. And in that moment, I realized, love is never about perfection. It's about courage. From that day on, everything changed. She was no longer a dream I carried, but a reality I cherished. Every laugh, every conversation, every touch became sacred. But here's the twist: love does end at yes. Love begins there. Because the real vow isn't spoken once, it's lived daily. And so, every day I choose her. Every day I remind myself that the woman in this video isn't just my future wife, as she's my forever choice. And that choice is the most beautiful freedom I have ever known. So, to you who are listening, remember this: love doesn't arrive when the world approves. It arrives when your soul recognizes its reflection in another. I call her my future wife not because I own her, not because destiny owes me, but because I have chosen her, endlessly, fearlessly, unapologetically. The woman in this video is my future wife, and I will spend a lifetime proving worthy of that truth. And maybe, just maybe, one day you'll find someone who makes you whisper the same vow. Until then, keep your heart open. Because love is always closer than it seems. I used to think love was about finding someone perfect. But the truth is, love is about finding someone whose imperfections you choose every single day. With her, I don't see flaws, I see details that make her real, human, irreplaceable. And is that what we're all searching for? Someone who doesn't just shine in the light, but someone who makes the darkness bearable too. Tell me, isn't love about holding someone's scars and still calling them beautiful? That's what she is to me, proof that love is not perfection. It's devotion. Sometimes I wonder what life would have been if I had walked away. If I had convinced myself she was just a passing thought, a fleeting face in the crowd. But every time that thought crosses my mind, my heart answers, impossible. Because some people are not meant to be forgotten. Some people are carved into your memory by forces greater than you. And she's one of them. Can you imagine meeting someone whose absence feels louder than their presence? That's why I knew letting go was never an option. I confess, there were days when I doubted myself. Days when I asked, am I enough for her? Because loving someone so deeply also means confronting your own insecurities. What if she deserves more? What if I can't give her everything she dreams of? But then I realized that love is not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about showing up, even when you feel unworthy. Because the truth is, the heart doesn't measure worth the way the world does. And if she chooses me, then is that already enough? The more I loved her, the more I discovered myself. Strange, isn't it? How someone else's existence can reveal parts of you that you never knew were there. Her laughter taught me joy, her silence taught me patience, her strength taught me resilience. She wasn't just someone I loved, she became my mirror, my teacher, my compass. And I ask you, what greater gift can love give than the courage to become a better version of yourself? She didn't just enter my life, she elevated it. And yet, love also carries fear. A fear of losing. A fear of distance. A fear that one day, everything you cherish could slip away. Have you ever loved someone so much that the thought of losing them feels like losing yourself? That's how I feel about her. But instead of letting fear paralyze me, I let it remind me. Remind me to hold her tighter. To cherish her louder. To love her without hesitation, because tomorrow is never promised. And if love is a gamble, then she is the only bet he'll ever place. There are moments I imagine our future with such clarity, it feels like memory. I see us walking through quiet streets at night, hands intertwined. I see us arguing about little things and laughing minutes later. I see us building a life, not of grand gestures, but of countless small moments that add up to eternity. Isn't that the secret of love? Not the extraordinary, but the ordinary lived together so beautifully, that it becomes extraordinary. That's the life I dream of with her. A life that feels like home. Sometimes people ask me why her. And my answer is simple, because my soul said so. Because no logic, no reason, no explanation, could ever justify the way I feel. Do we really need reasons for love? Or is love itself the reason? I cannot convince the world, and I don't need to. All I know is when I see her, I see the future I prayed for. And when I call her my future wife, it is not a prediction, it is a promise. So let this be my confession, not just to her, but to everyone who listens. The woman in this video is my future wife. Not because destiny handed her to me, but because I will fight for her. There are days when I catch myself smiling for no reason, and then I realize it's because of her. She lies in my thoughts like a constant melody, soft but unforgettable. Even in the middle of crowded rooms, I find myself searching for her face, her voice, her presence. Isn't it strange how one person can turn the entire world into background noise? That's what she does to me. And I wonder what kind of magic must love be, if it can silence the chaos of life with nothing more than a thought of someone. I've been told that love fades with time. That passion softens, that fire becomes ash. But I don't believe that, not with her. Because every day, I discover something new. A new way she makes me laugh, a new way her silence comforts me, a new reason to love her. Tell me, how can something fade when it keeps unfolding like an endless horizon? With her, love is not a flame that dies, it's a sun that rises every morning. Sometimes, I dream of the day, I'll take her hand, in front of the world, and promise forever. Not just with words, but with the life I build around her. I imagine the vows, the look in her eyes, the moment she becomes mine not only in heart but in name. And then I remind myself forever doesn't begin with ceremonies or rings. Forever begins in the quiet choice to love someone, again and again, every day. And my forever with her has already begun. There are moments when I fear she doesn't see herself the way I see her. She might look in the mirror, and only notice her flaws, her scars, her doubts. But I see everything she overlooks: the light in her eyes, the strength in her soul, the beauty she carries without realizing it. Isn't it true that we often love people more than they love themselves? And maybe that's what makes it sacred to be the one who reminds them, you are more than enough. That's what I'll do for her, every day. And I'll admit love is not without struggle. We may face storms, distance, misunderstandings. There will be days we fight, days we fall silent. But here's what makes her different: she is worth every storm. I'd rather art with her than laugh with anyone else. I'd rather face chaos by her side than peace without her. Tell me, is real love proven not in how you avoid pain, but in how you endure it together? It's so that I'm ready. With her, I'll weather it all.